The Acura TLX was redesigned in 2021 to give a long hood, a wide stance, and more of a sports styling performance. The Type S adds to that, making it even more performance driven with the brake setup, the exterior package that is exclusive to the Type S. This is a 2023 Acura TLX Type S in platinum white over red leather interior. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. The fascia is going to get the jewel eye LED projected low high signature chicane daytime runnings with your open dark surface Pentagon mesh grille, which feeds air to the exclusive turbocharged engine. The lower splitter is going to help generate downforce. Dynamic sculpted hood, which will help direct air and maximize performance. And the Type S badging doesn't just illustrate the sporty styling with the gloss black that's going to run on the lower. You're getting 83 horsepower more than the standard TLX. With 73 pound-feet of torque more. It's a completely different engine. It's a 3.0 liter turbocharged V6, producing 355 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque. That's paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission, achieving 19 mpgs for the city, 24 mpgs for the highway, with a sports tune adaptive damper suspension. 4 pistons in the front, Brembo brakes, red brake calipers. That's a 20-inch standard, lightweight alloy wheel, shark gray Y-spoke design. The front discs are going to be larger, reading at 14.3 inches. That's about 1.3 inches larger. The front is going to be 40% stiffer for your springs, lower anti-roll bars for the front and rear, double wishbone front suspension, a multi-link rear suspension, rear bias, super handling all-wheel drive, electromechanical limited slip differential, gloss black on the side view mirror caps. Unfortunately, on the side rocker, nothing that flares out to make it look a little bit more beefy and aggressive when you're looking at Infiniti, Mercedes, or BMW. The rear exit, standard LED tail lamps. The lower, the most aggressive in class, with these 4-inch quad exhaust outlet tips, the gloss black that's going to surround it with the diffuser in between it, front and rear parking sensors, and a reverse camera. The side sills get the reflector that's going to be there to just give a little bit more of that performance drive. I like what Acura is doing because they are going directly after the German rivals that have taken this line in the $60,000 price point to the next level, and now Acura is doing the same thing. Gloss black on the large trunk lid spoiler, quick release going into 13.5 cubic feet of storage. Underneath the floor we get a tire pump and the battery, split fold the rear bench in the back. We need to go inside, start it up so you can hear that twin scroll turbocharged exhaust note. Going inside the Type S TLX. Headroom 37.2 inches, legroom 42.2 inches. Sixteen-way power seat adjustment, heated, ventilated, with leather wrapped, red with ultra suede inserts, memory for the driver. The dashboard is going to be more of a performance style setup with the contrast stitching, with the geometrical pattern, satin aluminum that's going to run around the top trim of the air vents into the dual climate control settings. All the business in the center for your dynamic mode, the brushed aluminum look with the ambient lighting, gloss black that's going to surround it. 10.2 infotainment screen with true touchpad interface. The touchpad will mimic where you put it. So instead of having the touchscreen here, all these 4 icons will be as 4 buttons right in here. So what that means, when you click into the center, you'll have your phone, and your FM. You get used to it after a little bit. Sliding over, it is a very quick response system. Acura communication system, Bluetooth connectivity, Sirius XM, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, HD radio, Wi-Fi hotspot, and Acura's ELS Studio 3D Premier Audio sound system, which includes 17 speakers throughout the cabin, with a volume knob right next to the True Touch and the Type S key fob. Wireless charging pad and a palm rest holder. It's going to be more sporty, open up inside, and you get a 12 volt and 2 USB ports with another area for a key fob. Leather wrapped sports steering wheel. It's 3-spoke multi-function adaptive cruise control lane keep assist with the paddle shifters. The gauge cluster has a TFT display in the center that can go through an array of information for the driver. The door panels and the dash configure into each other with the brushed aluminum look, memory for the driver. Harder materials or everyday materials are found, and it starts softening up where it needs to be. Still going to be pretty sporty for your arms to rest. One touch up and down for all the windows, the ELS Studio 3D sound system, and a large storage pocket with a beverage holder in the front and a moonroof for the front occupants. For the back seats, headroom starts at 36.9 inches, and it's kind of carved out with the ELS sound system up here. Leg space at 34.9 inches. It's going to be a little bit tight if you're 6'3". No USB ports, air vents in the center, storage behind both of the front seats. The door panel receives the same material that's in the front, so every day, soften up, a little bit more sporty with the ELS Studio sound system and a smaller storage pocket with the beverage holder in the front. Sitting into the center, it's really hard to find a happy medium. If you want to kind of sit like this, you can see headroom. It's not really meant for anybody over 6 foot. Leg space, the same thing. I'm sharing butt, shoulder space, and feet space because the rails are pushed back, in which it's a longer vehicle, the way it projects in the numbers, but in the interior, they take out a little bit of that space to make it more sporty for the front occupants. 83 more horsepower than the standard TLX, 74 pound-feet of torque more. When you put it into sports, or sports, the exhaust gets a lot more throaty. It does pump in through the sound system, but I mean, even the Germans are doing this, so we can kind of disqualify some of that. It does sit low, and it does feel wide, and you kind of sit back. So it has a luxury slash sports car feel in the driver's seat. 355 horsepower, 354 pound-feet of torque, Sport Plus. I like the exhaust note that you get out of the vehicle. It really does feel very sporty and athletic. The only thing that I will say that I don't like is when you're in Sport Plus, it wants to really stay at a high RPM. You can't necessarily change the gears the way you want to. It wants to kind of take over. But just switch it into comfort really quick. The setup here also is a little bit more dynamic than any of the rivals because it feels like a race car. So as an everyday drive, you got the fun and you got that race car feel. It's not track worthy, but you're in a low 4-second 0 to 60. New for this year is a Type S PMC, which gives carbon fiber bits to the exterior, which is something I dislike in this one because they don't give you that. They do the gloss black kind of everywhere. No carbon fiber is found in the interior, which would make this right on point against the Germans because they've actually given the performance. They've given that style cue on the exterior. In the drive, it feels sporty and athletic, but it still feels composed. When you start getting up the tier, like in Mercedes for a C43, it feels a lot more rigid. So for a daily drive, it's a little bit more firm. This is gonna be more comfortable, just in normal mode, around 10 miles an hour. Even though you don't get that throaty exhaust note that filters in as much, I like the feel to it in normal mode too. I mean, it's a practical car. It's gonna be a little bit tight for a family, but it's doable if you're looking at a 3 Series or a C300. I mean, You have the same styling in the back seat, even for the Audi A5 or jump it up to the S5, same thing. The Sportback is going to be less with headroom than this one. It's going to take me to some things I like and dislike, and starting off with is what I like. Acura giving us the performance, increasing almost 100 for the horsepower, over 70 for the torque. That's pretty crazy considering the price bump isn't going $20,000, $30,000 more. The next thing that I like about it is the feel to it. It's a comfortable drive. It's not as bumpy and rigid. So it's a sport-tuned suspension when it needs to be. With these performance tires, you can do a little bit of cornering because the Pirellis grip well. The turn radius at more or less a stop point. We have it in Sport Plus. It's going to get about 2 in a part lane. Let's go. And that has to be the last thing that I like. It has that supercar / sports car exhaust note that filters in. It's not going to sound like a V8, but it sounds very clear for a turbo. You're not getting this spit, in which when you go into Infinity, you'll hear that spit in the RS400. The things that I dislike about the vehicle: non-touchscreen infotainment. I personally would have bought an Acura, but this touchpad interface, it works easy and seamless, don't get me wrong. I just would like it to be touch screen because everyone is going that route. The next thing that I dislike about the vehicle is it's a longer vehicle, and they kind of taken away from room in the back seat. Headroom is still a little bit less than the rivals in the front, and this is not a sportback design. For a daily use vehicle, it's low to the ground, but it's not as low as BMW and Mercedes. So you can go and do some maneuverabilities and you still have the performance. The last thing that I dislike goes into the cargo capacity. When you fold down the rear bench, you have the braces that hold the seats, so you're losing some cargo capacity. Again, this is a longer vehicle. They've made the space feel very wide in the interior for the front occupants, but they've taken a lot of that away for the back, and then losing the cargo. Now we finally have competition against the Germans, in which we have a longevity for a vehicle, because Acura, it's one of those vehicles that's known to drive for a while, smoother, composed, feels very airy inside the cabin, and you have all that performance styling on the exterior with the engine to back it. I like to thank Regal Acura for giving us this 2023 Acura TLX Type S for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, I don't know what you're waiting for. Click the next video and the subscribe button. Check out the merchandise, website, Instagram. Leave a comment and a like.